So imagine you're walking down the beach right now, ripped AF, okay? I'm talking shredded. You finally have a legit six pack, okay? You've always wanted this. Think of how much better your self image is going to be. Think about the amount of confidence you're gonna have. Think about how much more respect you're gonna have for yourself and the respect that others are gonna have for you because of the amount of discipline and hard work you've had to put in to achieve this goal. Imagine how much more attractive you're gonna be to your girlfriend, or if you're single, the attention that you're gonna get from other women. Living life with a six pack is living life on easy mode. Okay, not exactly, but it doesn't hurt. There's a major obstacle though that's in your way, bro, okay? And it's called time. If there was a magic pill that you could take to essentially get yourself in a position where your body just would transform and you'd get a six pack in a week from now, it'd be pretty safe to say that you would go and buy that pill, right? Let's be honest. You would probably go buy that pill. I mean, I know I would. Because if you could save yourself that much time and that much work and effort, it would be worth it, right? The problem is there isn't a pill like that exists, right? None that are, at least none that are legitimate. I'm sure, there's always tons of people marketing this kind of crap. But the problem is it doesn't exist. And so you're going to potentially fall into the trap. And that trap is the advice of people telling you that you should cut right now. You should cut right now and get to the point where you have a six pack. And in your mind, you're probably thinking, hey, that's actually pretty logical. Like the fastest way for me to get down to a six pack is for me to go in a calorie deficit and like be losing weight, right? If you want to actually have a decent six pack, nothing could be further from the truth. So typically the people who give out this type of advice they say things like, abs are made in the kitchen, or, everyone has a six pack, but you just have to keep cutting, bro, and you'll eventually get there. The problem with this though is if you take this advice right now and you start cutting, what's going to happen is you're going to end up in a position where you just look small, right? Because you haven't built up any muscle. So everyone has abdominal muscles, but in almost everybody, they're completely like underdeveloped. So if you go down this route and you follow this advice to try to go down the quick path and get the magic pill that's supposed to, basically get you where you want to go faster, what's going to happen is you're going to look smaller, and your six pack that you want, it's not going to be the type of six pack you want, right? You want like an actual proper six pack that's like, it's actually like, it's like carved, right? It's more blocky. It's not just like, a little outline that you can see or just flat. So if you want an actual six pack like that, the thing is you can't go down the route of cutting right away, especially not if you're in any position where you haven't really built muscle before. The first thing that you need to be doing is building muscle. Now, I fell for this trap, right? I'm not immune to this. I basically made the mistake, and now I'm just telling you so that you can avoid it, right? I essentially tried to go on a cut early so that I could get the six pack that I wanted to have, because I was like, well, if I do a cut now, well, then I'll just get a six pack faster. But luckily, before I went too far in that direction, I was able to figure out that that was the wrong path to go down. And it's a really big mistake I see people making. And I don't want you to make it, because you need to put in the proper amount of time building muscle first, right? And actually working on building your six pack if you actually want to have a proper six pack and not just like, skinny boy abs or basically no abs at all. So the solution to this is pretty simple, right? Instead of going into a cut right away, we want to focus on building muscle. So if you are in the position right now of being, say, skinny fat, right? The best thing that you could do would probably be to go into a recomp. That's what I did, because I was skinny fat. And so I went into a recomp so that I could essentially not cut and lose what I didn't even have in terms of muscle and not be able to progress in the gym. But I also didn't want to go on a full bulk, because that didn't make any sense. I already had a decent amount of body fat. And since I was a new lifter, the recomp strategy fits perfectly. And I made a whole video about it. You can go check it out if you want to. If you're really skinny right now and you don't have any muscle, but you also don't have any fat, the recomp approach doesn't really make sense because you don't have extra fat. So the best thing for you to do would be to go on like a lean bulk. And if you're actually fat or you're really obese, what you need to be thinking about is either going into a recomp stage, or potentially maybe even actually going into a proper cut, right? Which is going to mean you're not going to be able to build really as much muscle, but it depends on how extreme your situation is. I can't really tell you for sure because I can't see you. I have to see your physique to know what the proper steps are. But that's a rough outline that maybe you can kind of figure it out for yourself. So once you figure this out and you've chosen a direction to go in, right? The next thing that you really want to focus on, which is a mistake I made, okay? Listen to my mistakes. I'm trying to give you guys game here. I'm trying to give you game so you don't make the same mistakes. Do weighted ab exercises, okay? I know everybody says, oh, body weight is fine. Yeah, you can do body weight for a little bit, but let me tell you something. When you start doing weighted ab exercises, your six pack is going to be on another level. Okay. You're going to start noticing it and it's going to stand out so much more. All right. So combine unweighted or body weight exercises with weighted exercises for your abs, because the abs are just like any other muscle. They need to be grown, right? So you need to build and do like the same principle of progressive overload as you do with everything else. The abs aren't like some special muscle where you have to change all the rules of, the fucking universe. It's just basically the same thing. And people just get caught up in it because it's an area that people really want to have. They really want to have a six pack. And so marketers come up with all these different ideas and ways to try to sell, basically an alternative, easy option as opposed to actually just doing the hard work. So what you need to do is just focus on doing some body weight and doing some weighted. And over time, increase the weighted and increase the difficulty of the body weight ab exercises. So I'm going to give you 2 exercises that I found that have really helped me. And I'm just going to tell you what these are and give it away because there's no reason not to. I mean, I just want you guys to be able to get to the point where you can actually be happy with your body and feel confident. So the first thing that you want to be doing in terms of building your abs, in terms of a body weight exercise, is going to be what's called a hanging leg raise. Now, you may have seen people doing this in the gym, or maybe you already started doing this, but essentially you're just hanging onto a bar, right? And you're using your abs to essentially pull up your legs. Now, this is actually pretty advanced. If you haven't started yet, you might actually want to do what's called a regression to this, which would be the hanging knee raise. So the hanging knee raise is just a easier version where you're just tucking your knees up instead of having your legs straight out. Now, some people can't even do this. And if you can't do this, bro, don't feel ashamed. Like, it's not weird. Like, it takes time to get to the point where you're actually in shape enough to be able to do a lot of these things. So just take it step by step. If you have to start at the very bottom, then you have to start at the very bottom, right? Don't be ashamed. Don't let it throw you off of what you need to actually accomplish. So the easiest thing that you could do would be what's called a captain's chair, where your gym may or may not have this, where essentially you can sit in a chair and essentially you don't have to hang on to the bar and you can just pull your knees up, right? Alternatively, if you don't have that, maybe you can get some wrist straps so that you can actually strap yourself onto the bar so that it isn't your grip that's kind of holding you back from being able to do more leg raises. For weighted exercises, what I would recommend is that you do the cable crunch, okay? This one can be a little bit difficult and tricky to figure out because of the fact that you need to get the form just right for it to really hit your abs. But these are great at giving you that sort of blocky look because it's easy to add on more weight and it's easy to kind of progress. So definitely go for this. Definitely try this out and see what you think. Be careful because some people complain about how it feels on their back. So you might not like this one, but I'm just throwing it out there because it's kind of a simple, easy weighted exercise to start if you have like a cable machine anywhere. So try that one out. And over time, work your weight up, right? Make sure you get the form down first, good, because you don't want to get injured. And slowly work up the weight. So that's essentially the 2 exercises you should be doing right now. If you haven't started doing any ab exercises, just start with those 2. They're really basic, but they give you enough sort of options to kind of level yourself up in terms of your ability. If you do this and you're doing progress pictures, I'm telling you, you will absolutely notice a difference in your abs. You will absolutely notice how they pop, how they look more 3D. Also, getting a six-pack is going to require delayed gratification because what we're doing here essentially is we have to build up enough muscle so that you can eventually come into a cut and show off the six-pack, right? So it's all about delayed gratification. And this journey that you're going to go on is going to teach you all about delayed gratification. By the time I was done going through my whole building and cutting phase, I completely was a new person in terms of my ability of delayed gratification and discipline, because it literally will force you, if you want these results, you have to become a completely new type of person. When you actually go through this process, the great thing about it too is that in the end, you'll end up with the result, but you're also going to end up in a position where you've now advanced in terms of every other area of life, right? Because your relationships, your business, your money, all of that all requires delayed gratification. You need to do the hard things now without any immediate result. So instant gratification is the opposite of getting a six-pack, right? Instant gratification would be like, oh, I went to the gym for a day and I'm not seeing any results. Or, oh, I went to a gym for a week or a month. I'm not seeing any major results. I'm going to give up now. Now, if you were to adopt the instant gratification mindset, you would never build a great physique, because literally building a physique is all about delayed gratification. That's literally what it is. So you're putting in the work now to get the results later. So a month from now, you've put in a month's worth of work, and you'll start to see a little bit of progress. 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, you'll start to see more progress. But when you were actually doing it, there was no instant feedback of, oh yeah, I'm all of a sudden I'm jacked, right? It takes months, if not years, to get to that point. So delayed gratification is key. Just make sure that you understand that this is not just some quick fix progress. If you do the right things and you don't mess up like I did, and you actually take my advice, you will get there way faster than I did, right? Because I made a whole bunch of mistakes along my way, trying to figure it out by myself, and never got to the point where I could have, which was just doing it way faster, okay? So watch out for that, be aware of that. And oh, by the way, let me know what you guys think. Should I consider coming up with some sort of pill that will actually get you to having a six-pack somehow? Like coming up with some sort of pill that you can take and ingest that will literally burn fat and get you to the point of being able to have a six-pack within like a month or something. I mean, I'm sure there's a bunch of shit out there that already claims to do that, but obviously there's no way it's legit. But let me know down in the comments let me know down in the comments if you know of any like scam type pill things that I can check out to see if I can actually R&D it and make a legit one. If you want more help with this, check the links down in the description. I got to make sure I do my what is it called? My CTA, call to action. So check the links down in the description if you want more help with this. And yeah, I'll see you later.